Welcome back, friend. Now we are looking at the 49, which is revolution and principles. So if the 49 is in your sun on the personality or conscious side, one of these is going to be your purpose. Let's look at the right angle cross of explanation. So this cross basically establishes what principles and what answers are necessary in order to be able to satisfy our needs. Now, when we look at the 49 actually is designed to provide our needs. It is all about food once you get to the 49. How can our basic needs be met? And the 49 establishes those principles. So, for example, killing animals to eat them. Those principles are established here. And it's about explaining those principles and this revolution to others. So, for example, some people are totally okay with eating farm factory meat. They're okay with it. They don't have any qualms about it. And yet others that really want to consume meat, because I'm talking about the 49, we're talking about the butcher, we're talking about this is where our cross-special connection with mammals resides in the 19 and the 49. So how is that animal killed? How is that animal processed? That's what is so important to the 49 and being able to establish those principles. So some people, they're okay, like I say, with that farm factory meat. Others are not okay with it. And they only want meat that comes from a farmer that loves their animals. These are very emotional principles because the 49 resides over in the emotional intelligence. And what can happen here is that the explanations that come from these people can actually get them into trouble because there's a lot of tension here, because there's a lot of revolution here. And they explain and they explain and they explain, and potentially there is no followers to the principles or the revolution. It's just a lot of talk, let's just say. And it's okay. So really what's going to happen here, what I see as wealth building in this aspect is these are the people that really speak to the frequency of food and our needs and how our needs need to be met. So being a chef or being a butcher or providing YouTube videos with recipes, those are the kind of things that I see here where we're explaining and we're touching food and talking about who belongs in it. So for example, I own a cattle ranch and I am not going to, I don't buy into the whole vegan thing. I believe that there are particular people that need to consume animal protein at this time in our time-space reality. So you can explain and explain and explain and explain what you'd like to me about it. And I'm not going to jump on your bandwagon. However, your explanation of whatever it is for you is going to be correct for you. And those that are ready and willing to take a revolution will take the revolution. So I can see these people creating content around food, around that principle, or around our needs. Now, when we take a look at the juxtaposition of principles, the juxtaposition of principles is really about being ahead of your time. You are the revolutionaries. So you are completely ahead of your time. You're the forerunner of that fixed principle. And what is most important for you is actually human rights, and that human rights are protected. So whatever that looks like for you, creating wealth around that and around human rights. Now remember, the right angle cross gets very self-absorbed in knowing what needs we need to have. The juxtaposition is going to be that bridging. So that revolutionary that's be ahead of their times, setting up those principles so that when the future does come, that most likely you are so ahead of your time that you actually will not be in your meat suit when the revolution actually takes place. Because you're so ahead of your time. The answers that you're bringing to people and the human rights that you're trying to protect will be presented possibly hundreds of years from now. So can you make money at it today? Of course you can. Standing up for people's human rights and moving that way. But know that there's not going to be a massive shift in whatever the principles are that you're providing to people. It'll be over time. And then the left angle cross of revolution, this is actually where the pure revolution resides. And of course, the only thing that's uncomfortable about revolution is that it really is about money. They have, they don't have, they deserve, they don't deserve. So it really is going to be about practical revolutions and bringing that practicality to people. Because, what they're going to do is bring this evolutionary understanding to people. And sometimes revolutionaries look like heroes, and sometimes they look like villains. So it is about, it's not just about establishing new principles and revolutions, but it is about benefiting from them. So the juxtaposition provided us with this futuristic principle. Now, how can we benefit from that today? Because if there isn't a benefit today, then there's no point in moving forward. So the 49 as a whole, it demands that we have what we need to eat as a community. And what will happen is the tribe will band together. There will be a revolution if we don't have enough food. So when we look at any kind of revolutions that come up in the world, it's always about human rights, our basic needs, and then how can we as a whole, as a full tribe, benefit from the revolutions. So at one point, the factory farming was of benefit. We had an influx of people that we needed to feed. And now, is that really a benefit to us? Because those animals are raised with so many chemicals, they are raised with fear, they are raised in unnatural situations, which then cause dis-ease in the animal, which then cause dis-ease in the human that is consuming them. So this 49th gate, all three of these crosses are going to have some kind of root in our needs and in our foods. So take a look at this. How can you attract wealth based off of this information and your unique aspects in your design?